Waking abruptly in the night, paralyzed, terrified, surrounded by alien creatures, abducted and taken where? A laboratory? Spaceship? Laid out on a table and probed, surgically embedded with implants. Is this reality? Or is it a nightmare from beyond?
De segunda a sexta, The History Channel apresenta por mundo a biografia de personagens que se destacaram por seus atos, por suas obras, pelo impacto que causaram em...
Out of nowhere, flying saucer mystery is with us.
Airline and Air Force pilots. The Air Force itself has officially admitted that flying saucers exist.
Is there another civilization somewhere in space? Are we under surveillance by an intelligence that has revealed itself to us?
Hazardous and dangerous, the greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
Is life everywhere the same as us? Or are we just one?
The paradigm of science is not equipped to handle this phenomenon. Reasons, military reasons. It's not a scientific issue.
It's a puzzle, but it's a puzzle that's worth exploring.
Our Earth has been observed by alien civilizations for at least the past 50 years. Throughout our history, each age in our development is characterized by an ignorance about the scope of possibilities not yet understood, that future generations may look back on with a sympathetic smile of condescension. Such is the case with UFOs. To us, they represent intangible illusions between fantasy and reality. With it comes the possibility that we may finally discover who we are and what we humans might accomplish in a vast cosmos, endowed with intelligence. An increasing amount of people worldwide are reporting abductions being conducted by alien beings aboard what we describe as UFOs.
We think that the abduction phenomenon began with the onset of the UFO phenomenon. In other words, we think that the abduction phenomenon probably began around the turn of the century and has been with us ever since. Our problem has been uncovering these cases. We have cases from the 30s and a few from the 20s. After that, our knowledge, our first-hand knowledge of it drops off pretty much. We're not exactly totally and completely sure of what is going on with this phenomenon. What we do know is that we're looking at an alien agenda that is based on the physiological exploitation of one species by another species. In other words, people feel that sperm is being taken from them, eggs are being taken from them, babies are being implanted in them and then removed. All of this is for an agenda that is being kept essentially hidden from us. I look at this phenomenon with a certain amount of alarm. Other people feel that it's more benign than I might feel. But whatever it is being kept from us. I feel that if this were a phenomenon that were ultimately to help us, that we would probably know this and that the abductors would have made this clear. But this is not what has happened actually. And so I'm really very, very disturbed about what I've seen.
I mean, you take a person who has remembered alien experiences under hypnosis, remembers an implant being put in their leg, they're x-rayed, the implant is seen, and then it's removed by a doctor, and that has happened. You can't tell me that's not real. It is real.
I had a situation where a woman was in pain. She's on a table. There's various procedures that are being done to her. And she's very angry, and she's hurting. And she gets more and more angry, and the head doctor, alien figure, approaches her, puts his hand on her forehead, and she just is filled with love. She has never felt. She loves him more than she loves her children.
But the primary purpose of the phenomenon is the manufacture of sort of offspring from people, the production of offspring. This is a reproductively oriented phenomenon. That is to say, people say that they have sperm taken from them or eggs are taken from them. Women are then implanted with unusual embryos and fetuses, and then those fetuses are removed. People see these offspring as babies, toddlers, young children, teenagers, and adults as well. And we feel that the production of these offspring is really the focus of what this phenomenon is about. Now, the offspring look odd. They look like a combination of alien and human. Most abductees say they look like they're hybrids, for want of a better word. The hybrids have whites in their eyes. They have a mouth. They have a nose. They still speak telepathically, mostly. They look sort of human. Some look quite human. Some look more alien. But we know that this has been the focus of the program. This has been it, and people have been describing this from the beginning.
I had a case maybe 5 or 6 years ago where a whole family had been having UFO experiences up on the Cape Cod. The little girl in the family was 5 years old, who was not afraid of the abduction experiences she was having. And children go up and down. For a while they think it's wonderful and fun, and then they're terrified of it and change. Most people change too. But at any rate, she said that this little man came in and that she sees, but he had with him a little girl who didn't look human. She said didn't look like us and didn't look like him. Looked like a mix, and she had white hair, as this little girl described it, meaning very, very pale blonde hair. And the man said, we have to go, you have to come with us. We have some friends waiting. And she said, so we all three went out. We went right through the wall, Mommy, and you don't even get splinters. And you don't even get dirty. And they went to a playground on the Cape, and I think it's, I'm trying to remember the town, Harwich perhaps. But at any rate, she said they must have been playing baseball because all the lights were on. This is a playground with no lights. But at any rate, waiting for them were another group, another 9 little children. And she described them to her mother as, she said they were all twins. But she was upset because they didn't say hello to her, they didn't talk to her, and they didn't smile at her. But the basic point was that the alien figure told her he'd brought her there to play on the swings and slides and teach the children how to play. They had to see how to play. And so she got on the swing and so forth, but she wanted the children to play with her, and he said, no, they have to watch you and learn how to play. Now, and then when all this was over, they took her back. But the basic point here is that suggests to me the ultimate desire to live amongst us. I don't know any other way to interpret that. And so it would seem to me, whether they're physically capable of doing that or not, perhaps some of them are and some of them are not, for various reasons of, God knows, nourishment, air, who knows. But it would seem that that's the goal. Now, whether that's a peaceful, natural process or not, no one knows. There is no doubt in my mind that some branch of the government is deeply involved in this and is deeply concerned.
It seems to me that they began monitoring, when they became aware of this, obviously they began monitoring abduction activity. I have one case in my new book, Taken, that goes back to 1954, where military sequestered an entire family on a farm for 4 days after they had had alien encounters on the farm. So we know they were doing it at least that far back. It seems to me that they worked very hard, scrambled very hard to try to duplicate the technology, not only the technology for craft and the technology of other sorts, but also the mind control technology. And I think they've done pretty well in catching up enough to do some terrible things with this technology. They may think they're doing it for national security purposes, to glean information that's necessary, but I know to a person, if any government agency really involved in this wanted our information from any abductees, every one of them would be happy to offer it without being abducted, drugged, and threatened. We would give the information. They just don't want us to know they're taking it.
When I realized the military and government were abducting me to find out what the aliens were doing, and I resented that, one time I was picked up and threatened at gunpoint by our military, and I was told that I must never talk about what was happening to me or they would kill me. This was back in 1991. And I believed them. You know, I never had anybody stick a gun to my head before and say, if you talk, we'll kill you. But that's not the only time that I was captured by the military. There have been other experiences in which I have remembered just little bits and pieces. I've remembered being in a military hospital and having an x-ray machine scan my body. I remembered being given drugs. I remember having my arms strapped down onto tables so that I couldn't move and being given injections. I remember the military doctors doing something to my right ear, which I find this interesting too. Prior to that procedure, I heard Morse code type beeps in my right ear. After that procedure, I did not. However, after that procedure, I started hearing Morse code type beeps in my left ear. And I still hear those beeps in my left ear. Wherever I am, whenever it's quiet, I hear Morse code type beeps.
I do make some theoretical constructs to help me test and deal with material, but I haven't yet to publish or to state a conclusion. I do not have a conclusion. I don't think anyone who has one right now should be believed or listened to, because there's still too much we haven't sorted through. But my take on it at this point, and this is personal but based on evidence from my case, my family's, and many, many other cases, is that we are a resource. We have long been a resource for these entities, that they not only take physically from us, they take emotionally and spiritually from us, and that it is not for our benefit. We are a resource for their benefit. And I think there's a change in the relationships in the last several years between the crop and the harvester, if you will, because the crop is developing new awarenesses.
I think there is a certain twilight zone of phenomena that, if confirmed, would really overthrow the entire materialistic worldview.
I think we're asking the right questions, and this has got to continue. I mean, if we let the curiosity, the anger and frustration that these people feel die out, then we're doing us all a disservice. Because we come back to the most important question. What if it is true? Then what are we doing about it?
We may not ever know the entire truth behind the alien abduction phenomenon, but one thing seems clear. Until things are taken seriously, it's not going to go away. Thank you for joining us, and good night.